Welcome to Soul-Led Lifestyle Podcast with me, Adele McCoy, and my magical guests, giving you the strategy, tools, and activation you'll need to create your soul-led life. Hey guys, and welcome to another episode of Soul-Led Lifestyle Podcast. I'm Adele McCoy, and today we have something quite special for you. We have a wonderful lady called Mahnaz Sharif, and she is a productivity mentor specialising in empowering female solopreneurs and service providers, helping them to build an aligned business that flows with ease and joy. She believes it's time for women to step into their power, to work less and be more. She works with clients in her business membership and her Dream Journey program while being a fully present mum to her boys. So you need to listen to her story. It's really quite phenomenal, and the work she does is magic. And I hope you get so much from this session with her today. And yeah, I'll see you on the other side. Hey Mahnaz, thank you so much for coming on today. How are you?
Thank you. Thank you, Adele. Yeah, I'm great. Thank you.
Amazing. Okay, so tell me a little bit about you. So, what was life like for you growing up? Like, what was little Mahnaz like?
Yeah, sure. So I'm born and bred in Edinburgh, so you can probably tell from my accent. I had very hard-working parents. My dad was came into the UK when he was a young boy, so working hard was something that was instilled in him, and it was something that he wanted for his kids too. Of course, to do well, to achieve things, and yeah, very hardworking parents. Loving family, and I'm one of three girls, so we were very close knit and very small family, but. We were just really growing up ourselves, spending a lot of time together, even though my dad was obviously working very hard, extremely hard with the kind of hours that he put in. But yeah, we all had a very happy childhood, and just did all the things that we needed to get us
Yeah,
to adulthood, and as you do.
yeah. So, all girls, was there any arguments and fighting over things?
Oh my goodness, yeah, of course, yeah. It's different, isn't it? Different kind of mechanics and different culture that you have in your family. But being all girls, we didn't have that kind of many influences from men or boys having a big brother.
Uh-huh.
But it was different. My eldest sister was only a year older than me, so we were very close in terms of school. We were one class under each other, always following each other, and very kind of close in that sense. We were going through things very similar times,
Yeah,
in that sense. So definitely had a strong bond with each other because we were just girls as well.
yeah. Uh-huh. Amazing. So, what then would you say? So, how was then your journey sort of growing up? Obviously, you've come from a place where hard work was installed into you. You
Mm.
knew by looking at your parents that to do good in this world you have to work hard and be
Yeah.
able to provide for a family. So I'm guessing that made you feel like, right, I have to make sure I do well at school so that I can get really good jobs and work hard so
Yes.
that I can look after my family when the time comes.
Absolutely. I think they just go hand in hand. I think it starts with education. Education was a must. My dad didn't have a degree at university or anything, and that's why he knew it was important that he wanted his children to go to university. So the fact that all three of us have a degree, and we all did what we wanted to do and successfully graduated from university, it was a huge deal, especially for parents who came from that kind of background where they left their homeland and had wanted a new start for their whole family. They wanted to have a better life.
Hmm.
So yeah, working hard was education was first, and I never really knew what I wanted to be, in honesty, and so I just went with what I enjoyed and what I was really good at. And the only thing that I could see myself doing was studying maths, to be honest. So that's what I ended up doing at university. And yeah, I graduated with a maths degree. So problem solving was always something that I had strong skills in, even as a young child, with different kinds of things. It was always very clear, but I guess you don't realize that at the time. So things
Mm,
do sort of turn out and in different ways. So it is quite interesting, isn't it? How
yes.
we now look back and can think, yeah, actually that makes sense.
Yeah, definitely. And then, so what then did you do after you left uni and stuff? What sort of path did you take?
Yeah, again, I didn't have a strong inclination for having a maths degree, or having a degree that isn't necessarily a profession in itself. It's not very easy. You can go into lots of different things. I was very good at analysing and looking at problems and just really expanding on that. So I started working in the financial industry as an analyst. So I ended up just working around different jobs and just getting more experience, learning what I liked, and moving from one place to the next to better myself and get better jobs, and just kept consistently really doing that.
Mm,
And that was a 20-year period that I was working. So I'm glad to say that I did have a full chunk of that kind of corporate career.
yeah.
Lots of lessons learned there. I was first just newly graduated, and when I left, I had two kids. By then, I was married and with two kids, and they were at a certain age as well.
Yeah.
So yeah, the experience that you go through for being full time to being pregnant, taking time off, maternity, going back, part time hours, and
Yeah.
really just trying to do all the things. That
Everything.
was
Yeah.
certainly, it's always, motherhood is a challenge in itself. And when you're a working mom and you're trying to fit everything and trying to give everything your best, it certainly is something that is always work in progress.
Definitely. So when would you say that sort of the pivotal moment was for you when you realised that, although you loved what you done, change was needed?
Yeah, I think there's lots of things that happened in my personal life, and my mother passed away, and we always looked as a family. We'd always looked at one day I wouldn't have to work.
Mm-hmm.
So I was kind of working to that point, and when that time came, it was like, great, I can not do anything, and it was becoming more of a reality. But to tell you the truth, never I didn't feel, even at that time, that I could just stop and do nothing, because being a mum is the most important role in the whole wide world. And I can't completely, that's something that we have to honour, anybody who's a mum. But there's something that you need to have for yourself, and I just felt that I needed something for me, which is why I really started on an entrepreneurial journey, and I set up my first business, which was a product business, and that kind of just then evolved and led into different things happening, and obviously lockdown happened, and then that actually forced me to really change and pivot and do different things. But that whole experience, then it was mainly because I felt that need to do something for myself. I wanted to be a mum and do all these things, but not just be at home. I
Mm-hmm.
wanted to have something that was just mine, and feel like you're using your brain and you're applying yourself, and doing something that is all positive.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I totally understand that. I was the same, really, having the young kids at home, and where everyone was like, enjoy them, and which I was totally. But I've
Hmm.
always been very independent and doing things. So all of a sudden, I'm
Yeah.
like, I've got these three young babies under the age of three, and I'm like, what now? No, I need to start something. I need to start a business. So I ended up starting a business around them. A
Right.
child clothing brand business, and it grew.
That's
So I
amazing.
totally understand what you mean by that. It's like you need to be doing something for yourself because it
Yeah.
feels rewarding. Um, Amazing. So then, what then brought you on to what you're doing now?
So I guess it was the whole experience we've had over the last few years has really taught us so many things, and lockdown, the whole sort of COVID situation. My business at that point was online, but being a product business and then being online would naturally seem like, well, that's easy and that makes sense, but it wasn't sustainable to keep that going, and the amount that I was putting in versus the reward that was coming out and the impact I was making. I just didn't feel that the impact was there.
Mm-hmm.
And obviously, for me to be running a business successfully, it has to be able to pay you to be for you to benefit from the freedom that it gives you. And I just felt something needed to change. So I also didn't want to work that many hours, and I knew I had gone to from being in a corporate career early on. I had never worked the number of hours that I worked then as an entrepreneur, and that was really my kind of highlight, and really noticing that, and when I really felt like I need to do something to change this.
Mm-hmm.
So I'd always worked with women in business, and I just felt a drive, a deep desire that I wanted to help them grow their businesses. I wasn't quite sure at the beginning, how I would do that, which is obviously something then that I tapped into. But at the very beginning, it was really just that desire, and I followed that to really explore it and really try and understand, what do I know and how can I help people, and how could that be of service to them, and really help them cultivate a business that means that they have joy in their life, they have presence, whether they're working, or whether they're being a mum at home, or whether they're just taking time off, and being able to switch that button where it's off and you're off duty. I think a lot of lessons get as you go through that whole experience, and I feel that my whole journey has been about this, because it has led me to this point to really have to then analyze, well, why was I working more, um, why was I working harder, and having to really pick that and
Mm-hmm.
try and dissect that and change it really. And if I can change it for myself, then I can show others that it's absolutely possible to work less and be more productive, be more efficient, and be more effective. Because none of us sign up to the working hours that we end up doing too, even especially when we start off. And I think that's my mission, is to really help women in business in general to not fall into that trap and to not make the mistakes that I did, so that they can, as I said, be fully present in their life in general, and just be living the life, and be able to honour what it is that they want from their business.
Mm-hmm. And how would you say that's going so far? So have you got any like really cool stories of clients, and since working with you, how they've changed their working life around in business?
Yeah, I've got some amazing clients, because I'm working in a membership as well, so I get to work with them in a different capacity in the membership, sort of helping them at their own pace doing things. And then I have a deeper program as well, which I have had one client has just had the most amazing transformation. She didn't have a business to begin with, but it was something she had. Thought about and really done a lot of training on, and she was a nutritional coach, she'd a health coach, and she knew all the things, but she just wasn't getting herself out there, and she wasn't doing the things. So when she signed up for my program, it's been like amazing watching her transformation, because she's gone from like just taking that step by step process and working out what's right for her. And then things happened halfway through the program. Lots of things changed for her, and it ended up meaning that she had a dream for a physical shop, since she can even remember, and this started to become a reality. And would you believe she opened a physical shop during lockdown? Um,
Wow.
so
Wow.
she so it was like she
Wow.
actually took those steps, she took that
Yeah.
courage, she built all of this around. And as with any business, it's always ever evolving, so it's great to watch how she keeps evolving and changing and growing. But the fact she has a physical shop, she always dreamed that she would have this place.
Mm-hmm.
And she does hair braiding in the shop. The shop's in Coventry, and she does, health coaching. She does lots of other things that are very much aligned with how she wants to operate and what she wants to offer. So it's just been amazing watching someone who didn't think, that any of those things were possible, to feeling, that much confident and getting so clear on what they wanted to actually make it happen.
Yeah.
It's just been
So,
awesome.
so how exactly do you work with the women that you work with? So I heard you say you got a membership and you also do some one-on-one work with them. Um, how does it all work?
Yeah, so the membership is a like a safe kind of very small community, and it's a really lovely community. We come together twice a month on Zoom, so there's a live element in there, and there's pre-recorded materials, trainings, and then there's a quarterly check-in I do with everybody individually, which is a quarterly business MOT. So I actually create this little guide for them, which is
Mm-hmm.
specifically about them. And that's just, I love doing those for my VIP members. Because it's great to see like where they are and where they're going, and it
Yeah.
really gives them a snapshot and a guide so that they feel like they're actually supported. And we do lots of planning and training sessions in the membership, and then they have access to things that they can just watch on repeat, and it's all very much focused on taking actionable steps, because we can all spend our time learning, can't we?
Mm-hmm.
And we do. We often, we sign up for this and we do this, but the only time that you're ever going to benefit is if you take up something you've learned and actually implement it, put it into action. So this membership is all geared around, taking action in your own way, so you can pick, pre-recorded one trainings that are already there, and you can pick up the workbook. You can work in it on your own time, but you're actually building that business. So you're doing that work that you need, and you're doing it in a way that feels good to you. That's really, really important, because, there isn't a standard kind of plan that just, okay, do this formula and then
Mm-hmm.
this works. It's not about that. Um, and then in the program, what I do with my Dream Journey program clients is it's a very deep dive into everything they need to know, and I walk through with them from the vision that they have for their business, and all the way through all the things that they need to have in place, working out the strategy that they want to use, the action that they need to take, and really step by step building this picture of who they're trying to help and what they're going to help them with and how they're going to help them with, answering all those questions, taking action as you go along.
Mm-hmm.
And then in the end, what they end up with is a very personal roadmap, because they've made all these choices along the way
Yeah.
in a very guided and supportive way. So they actually come up with their own business blueprint,
Mm-hmm.
and it becomes something that they can just, really dive into, and have a very, very neatly have it concisely saying what it is that their business does.
Mm-hmm.
And this has been really powerful, because I think it's very hard to just work on all those things, especially
Yeah.
on your own. So there's a lot of support in there. So there's some live sessions, and there's lots of material that people can again take at their own pace, because I'm a believer of helping people with different learning types as well, so that, if you're more visionary or listening, or actually coming on live, whatever it is, you will get the transformation.
Mm-hmm.
You will get the value that you need and answer the questions, and there's lots of one-to-one support in there as well. So it's
Oh,
very
brilliant.
much
That's
focused on what they need.
exactly what we need, isn't it? Because it's all great, going and doing all these courses and whatever, but there's so many people that buy into courses and pick it up, do it for a
Yeah.
little while, and then put it down and never touch it again, and then go and buy
Yes.
another course for a similar
Yes.
thing. So I think with you, it sounds like you're helping them to embody what they're learning, so that they can then
Mhm.
put the steps forward and make it a
Yeah.
real reality, you know?
Absolutely. Yeah, that is just so key. And it is about taking, the baby steps. Sometimes we
Yes.
just keep getting stuck on where we're wanting to go, but we just have to keep remembering that it's just the next thing we need to work on.
Yeah.
It's not that whole thing. And that's why where productivity and just being really intentional with our time, because
Mm-hmm.
then we can focus and zone in on really what matters. And when you want to take trainings again, they can take up so much time. But when you come to actually implementing, then it means that, you know, you're taking action on it. You're actually getting a benefit from having spent X number of minutes on
Yeah.
listening to something.
Brilliant. So, what is the plan going forward? What would you like to see for your company, in sort of 5 years' time? What is kind
Oh
of the bigger
wow.
picture?
I'd love to have just an amazing tribe of women and my membership growing. I'd love to have a flow of clients just coming in as they need. You know, it's all about when people need the support in a very you know, I want to be able to sell everything in a very aligned manner too, because you know it's great when sales don't feel like they are sales,
Hmm.
and I just want to set everything up in a way that it's attracting the right people,
Yeah.
and helping those people to really, like I said, take that next step forward.
Brilliant. Um, okay. So, what 5 things, or no, let's say 3 things, would you say to a lady who is just embarking on her business journey? She's got a really great idea, but she's not really confident because this is all new to her. What would you sort of give her, like, as a stepping stone in the right direction to get her on the right path? What 3 things would you offer? Would you say to her?
Okay, that's okay. So if she is starting on a path, I think firstly she really needs to get very, very clear and deep on her vision, and really just tap into that and understand what that needs to feel like. You know, what is it? And really get as much clarity as possible. That's certainly number one, because that vision is going to drive us to do all the other things. And then from that vision, really understand what your why is.
Hmm.
You know, what actually um, motivates you to do what you're wanting to do. Because that why is something we want to keep coming back to every time you have a little wobble, you know, anything happens. That's the thing that you want to remind yourself. And then number three, I think, is the basis of everything that we do is who, you know, who are we tapping into? Who are we trying to help? Because we can never have enough clarity on that. And it is always, as you'll know, Adele, it's constantly, isn't it, working on that. And it can keep changing too. But I think those are the kind of most important. If you broke it down as simply as you possibly could to really, like, what 3 things, I would say: vision, your why, and who you're trying to serve, and really just getting as much clarity on that as you possibly can.
Amazing. And I'm taking it that obviously you in business and doing the type of sort of intuitive business, it's a bit like, isn't it? Because you're having to tap into, like you said, really thinking about what it is you want to do and really putting yourself in that zone, and then everything else is sort of coming together. So with that sort of intuitiveness about you, I'm guessing that you do a lot of grounding and protection for your energy, and just how do you, because I'm basically asking all my guests how they ground and protect themselves on their soul led journeys. What keeps them grounded? What sort of
Yeah,
techniques do you use?
I think it's really important at different times in the day to be doing something. It's not just about, you know, I give myself, you know, self-care Sunday, or, you know, whatever term might come out that you see on Facebook or wherever you're scrolling. So I start my day firstly with gratitude when I wake up. Then I take some time out, and it varies in the length of time, but I do some form of yoga in the morning, and that really sets up my day. And taking that time out and just pausing, really hitting pause for a moment, and really just being myself, you know, for a little while. If I'm really rushing and I've got a busy day and I only take 15 minutes, then I always do my best to make sure that I do the 15 minutes, because it's not, you know, too much to give for yourself, because it,
Yeah.
it sets you up for the rest of the day.
Hmm.
And then in the evening, I will, even if it's just 5 minutes or 10 minutes, some kind of meditation or listening to some music that is really just about reconnecting with yourself or resetting yourself or trying to release what's happened in the day, whatever it might be, because we all have busy lives and we want to have a restful sleep. And in order to do that, we really need to be doing something as a routine. So those are things that I just every day I put into my schedule, and it is it's a must. It's not a if I have time.
Yeah.
That is definitely the intention behind that.
And also doing those things, just I say that when you're putting that grounding energy in every day, you see the day through a different lens. Because I
Yeah,
think back to the time when I never used to ground every day, or do that. I just used to sort of get through my day, and most of the time I was
yeah,
very busy. And the way I look at my life now in comparison to how I looked at it then is just, I see it so differently. I pick up on little beauties I would never have
yeah.
seen before, just beautifulness around my life
That's
and the
amazing.
people that
Yeah.
come into my world, because
You
we're more
forget, don't
mindful.
you?
Yeah, exactly. We're more
Yeah.
mindful of everything that we're sort of
Yeah.
consuming, you know. So yeah, I think it is very important. I call it spiritual hygiene. It's kind of one of those things that
Oh,
you
I
need.
like that. That
Yeah,
is really good. Yeah,
yeah. There's
it
something that I
is.
kind of
There is
preach.
there's something about it almost cleansing yourself from, though, isn't
Yeah.
it? It
Uh
is
huh.
about, yeah, I love how you say that. I think it is
Yeah.
protection and it is grounding. It's like got so many different elements and so
Mm.
many positives in there in
Yeah.
terms of what it gives you. And you're right, we do definitely forget what we perhaps used to do, but you can take away the overwhelm, the stress, and all the things
Exactly.
that can kind of have that domino effect as well.
Definitely. And what is your favourite crystal
Oh,
and
I
why?
do love crystals, but my favorite color is purple, so I always am drawn to amethysts. Um, but I do have this one particular one. I'm not sure if you can see it, and it's a blue. It's got lots of
Can't see it.
waves and through it.
It looks a bit like, it's a bit blurry, but it looks a little bit like um, lapaz.
I
I
can't.
could be
I'm
wrong.
not sure what this one is called, but this is the blue one that I'm really drawn to. It just looks
Hmm.
beautiful with all the waves going through it.
Yeah,
And that's the way I can describe it. But amethyst has like always been just purple is just
yeah,
an awesome color, isn't it?
it is. It is, and it's a very. I find that when people are drawn to the amethyst, it's a very spiritual stone, so it kind of helps ignite the third eye and your intuition and being centered. So I find it
Right.
really interesting when people say, oh, "I've been really drawn
Ah,
to amethyst lately." You
I'll
know.
get myself some more of those then.
Yeah, yeah, definitely. Um, okay, so would you like to share with the listeners any offers or courses that you have currently running, and also how people can find you?
Yes, of course. What I'll do is, Adele, I'll share my website link with you.
Yes.
Everybody can, who's listening, even on replay or watching back, or listening, they can just go to my website and get the latest information anyway. It's excelwithmanaz.com. So I'll pop you the link over.
Yeah.
And I am running a challenge that's coming up on the 5th of September. So I'd love to share that with you. It's a free 3 day challenge and it's called Create Revenue Streams Without Working More Hours. So it's a 3 day experience, and then on the fourth day we go into a masterclass, which is all about how to get paid before you create new online services. So it's all about having a sustainable business and really taking that step by step approach of what you could do, how you can add revenue streams into your business model. And yeah, if you're listening to this and after September, then please still visit my website because I will be running a few of these in the year. I've run it before and it was amazing. The people who actually managed to finish and complete the whole challenge were really left so motivated and inspired. It was just amazing to see all their light bulb moments. So I highly recommend that you grab your spot on the next one. And I do have a summer special offer on to join my membership if anybody's interested to work harder on your business than rather than in it, and really working in a much smarter and more effective way. Then I teach women in business to get more intentional with their time to build their online business. So email marketing and, being off social media, all the things that can help you get more visibility. Then I have a trial offer for a 30-day chance to really test out the membership for £20, and you get to also come to all our live sessions too. So it's a great way to just have a look, come inside and really see if it is something that would help you.
Amazing. And like you've just said there, about people that want to start a business but maybe not through social media, because I've had that, because not everyone wants to be all over social media, right?
Yeah.
So is that effective and is that easy to do? Because a lot of people think that no, if you're not on social media, then you can't build a lucrative business.
I think social media has its place, and it certainly is a free tool and it's a free platform, whichever ones you resonate with and you stick with. So everything has its own place, but unfortunately social media can overshadow our day. It can really drain our time and energy, because if we use social media, we need to use it in a way that we are using it and it's not controlling us. And what I find more often with women in business is that they can just kind of end up in this draining their time and losing their time, going down the scroll and just losing, like, how's half an hour passed, how's an hour. And it comes back to intentionality and being very effective with your time, because what we focus on, we know that energy flows wherever our focus goes. We know that, right? And when we know that, then almost social media can become a distraction. I'm not saying it's not helpful and it shouldn't be used. It certainly should be, but then you strategize on that. That's where you should have a way of how you use it, rather than it being something, you're thinking about it maybe more like a tool. It's actually a tool that you choose when you want to use it and how you want to use it. And that's certainly something that we're exploring in the membership, because more and more of us are just, we don't want to be on social media. We don't want to be posting 3, 4, 5 times a week and then getting no engagement. And everybody has got like this fatigue. Nobody responds and engages, and there's less people out there. This summer just now, people are more outdoors and doing different things. So it makes sense. And as a consumer, we're probably not consuming that much either. It does change, and it has sort of peaks and troughs as well. So yeah, absolutely, it's possible, and it's only when you start exploring and looking for those things, that's when you'll start seeing that there are other possibilities. I mean, businesses were around way before social media, right?
Yeah, exactly. How did they do it? No, we are in a good time, where, like you said, these things are free, and if we want to, we should utilize them. But it's not easy just because it's free.
No.
So yes. But anyway, Mahnaz, thank you so much for sharing your magic with us. And guys, if you're interested in anything that Mahnaz has shared with us today, you're thinking of starting your own business, you're not sure where to go with it, you want to be held within a community where everyone's kind of on the same path, then head out and find Mahnaz and she will hook you up. I'm going to put all the details under the post of this podcast so that you can find it easily. And yeah, thank you so much for listening today.
Thank you for having me, Adele.
Oh, no worries at all. You take care, Mahnaz.
Thank you. Bye.
Bye.